What if I told you by 2028, Washington State is about to have the highest combined income tax rate in the entire country? Yeah, you heard that right, Washington. The state that had no income tax for literally 100 years. The state people moved to from California specifically to escape high taxes. That Washington. Well, Olympia just changed the game. And if you own property, work in tech, run a business, or you're thinking about buying or selling a home in Seattle or on the east side, you need to understand what just happened. Because the real estate landscape by 2020 looks very different from what you have today. Alright, let's get into it. Because Seattle in 2028 may look very different than the Seattle we know today, and not just because they'll probably still be fixing some road for the 7th straight year, I cover the Seattle east side, meaning Bellevue, Redmond, Kirkland, Woodinville, Bothell, Issaquah, Sammamish, all of it. And today we're getting into the new laws, the taxes piling up, what companies are actually doing, and most importantly, who wins and who loses when all of this kicks in. Wait, didn't Washington have no income tax? Let me back up for a second, because if you're new here, this context is important. Washington has been one of the only 9 states in the country with zero individual income tax. Zero. That was a huge deal, especially for tech workers vesting millions in stock options and RSUs every year. It's one of the reasons Amazon chose Seattle. It's one of the reasons Microsoft built its empire in Redmond. No income tax meant workers got to keep more of what they earned. But that era just ended. Here's what the tax stack looks like for high earner in Seattle starting in 2028. A 9.9 millionaires tax on household income above $1 million just signed into law, and that's effective January 1st, 2028. A 5% Seattle social housing tax, a payroll expense tax on compensation above $1 million that was approved by voters in 2024. A 2.557% jumpstart payroll tax. That's Seattle's existing payroll tax on high earners funding housing and climate programs. A 0.58% Washington Cares tax, Washington's long-term care insurance tax on all wages, and then you have a 9.9% capital gains excise tax already in place. 7% on gains between $278K and $1 million, then 9.9% on top of that. Total combined top rate for a high earner in Seattle, over 18%. That is not a typo. That is the highest combined state and local top tax rate in the entire country. Higher than California, higher than New York. We are officially the #1, not in a good way. You know, for being a state that prided itself on being a tax haven, we really committed to that for a bit. Nothing like becoming the worst in the nation overnight. We went from zero to hero, or villain, depending on who you ask.